Welcome to Minutes with Coach Missy. Today I'd like to talk about stigmas in the African American community when it comes to mental illness. How many of you know that our race, our gender, sexual orientation, and even your socioeconomic status can influence the kind of treatment we receive or whether or not we're comfortable speaking about it? Mental health has a lot of stigmas attached to it, and those stigmas are found in each race. Asians and Hispanics, they feel like mental health stigmas affect them differently in their communities than it does in others. There's a lot of stigmas in the Black community, which involves thinking that mental health issues don't exist, so we don't talk about it. It's not talked about at home. It's not talked about at church or our community functions or even social events. As a Black woman, I know firsthand that in our communities and our families that we've suffered through mentally, culturally, and then, it's not talked about. Guys, it hasn't been that long ago since we came out of slavery. And if the truth be told, we're still in slavery, to some extent. Whether it be bondage of our minds, we're still dealing with racism, even now in 2018. The police are still, targeting us. They're still singling us out. Our Black men are always targeted. Our Black women are thought of as ratchet, ghetto, welfare queens, And, we're never thought of as being intelligent. The police are still beating our Black men. They're still killing our Black men. There's a lot of racism still going on right now today. And those are things that affect you mentally. They really do. So there's a lot that, that we're dealing with as a culture. And that stuff plays on your mental. It really does. Because I know, for me personally, it affects me mentally. As a Black woman, I feel that I always have to compete. I got to look this way. I got to be that way. I got to, I have to get all this education, and I have to have 50 degrees under my belt, I got to live in this neighborhood because, if I don't, I won't be accepted. And you know what? All of this stuff, it will depress you. It will bring you down. And then you feel like, you're losing it. You're losing it mentally. And guys, I don't know if you know this or not. In the African American community, suicide is the third leading cause of death for African Americans ages 15 to 19. Okay? So it starts affecting us at a very early age. And out of those African American teens, 15 to 19, only 1 out of 3 African Americans who really needs help for mental health care get it. Only 1 out of 3. That's nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to start taking mental health issues serious. We really do. Because, I remember there was a time when I was growing up, and this is no offense to any of my Caucasian friends. I remember we used to say, things, we used to talk about suicide and depression, in our family. And we say, that's not something that Black people do. We don't commit suicide. We don't. That's what the white folks do. Our kids don't commit suicide. That's what white kids do. Well, guys, unfortunately, that's not true anymore. Because if it was, it wouldn't be the third leading cause of death for African American teens 15 to 19. So that lets you know that that's not true anymore. So we need to start talking about this. Families need to have a discussion at the table, in your home about mental illness. We need to start talking to our children. We need to start talking to even the elderly, to your, parents. If you have grown parents still living, you need to start talking to them. You need to start talking to grandmothers and grandfathers. Like I said, we need to start talking to our children. We need to start talking to our children at very early ages, okay? Even all the way down in elementary school. There are children now that are 7 and 8 years old that are committing suicide, guys, because they're being bullied. They're dealing with things at school, and they're depressed, and they're afraid, and they don't know how to talk to their parents or whoever because of the stigmas that's attached to it. And so we got to make it where that people are comfortable with telling someone else, "Hey, I'm not feeling like I should. I'm sad. I'm down. I feel like I want to hurt myself. People are talking about me. People are bullying me." We gotta kill this thing that that people can't talk about it because they're afraid that someone's going to judge them, or someone's going to talk about them, or someone's going to, say, "Oh, you're stupid," or you're just trying to bring attention to yourself, Yeah, if they are, then we need to see what's going on. If someone is sad all the time and they're not enjoying life, come on, especially our children. That's what life is supposed to be about for them. They shouldn't be depressed, So, like I said, we, in our community as African Americans, let's have a discussion about this with our families. Let's have a discussion about this at our churches. We owe it to ourselves and our children to talk about it. Let's stop acting like mental health doesn't exist in our communities, because they do. We're finding more, like I said, children that are depressed, that are suicidal in our own communities, in the African American communities. We can no longer say that this is a white issue, because it's not. Statistics says otherwise. Because if it was true that it was a white issue, then suicide would not be the third leading cause of death among African American teens ages 15 through 19. So we got to start talking about it, guys. We really do. Stop being silent on these issues. Talk to your children. Talk to your loved ones. Talk to your friends. If you're noticing that they're acting different than they used to, say something to them. Have a talk. Sit down. Let's discuss what's going on. Stop pretending like it doesn't exist. Thank you guys for joining in with Minutes by Missy.